the 2016-2017 NHL season on Wednesday. The Toronto Maple Leafs made a couple of really tough decisions yesterday, waiving a couple of guys. Surprised of one of them, the other one not so much. Colin Greening is out. Of course, Greening was a guy, they got him in the trade for Dion Phaneuf, so he's gone. We knew that was probably going to happen. But Brooks Laich?
A little bit surprised. Thought he had that fourth line center spot locked up. I know I'm turning myself into the quintessential Maple Leafs observer when I'm obsessing over the fourth line center for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but that's where we're at. Peter Holland gets the spot, and Brooks Laich doesn't. I thought that, one of the questions going into this year's season was how many kids is Mike Babcock going to be comfortable having, on this Maple Leafs team? And the answer is a lot, Dean. And the answer is tons of kids, including an entire third line with Hyman, Matthews, and Nylander. Looks like that line's gonna stick. They played the last two games together. So that answers the questions. Vets, not so much. No room at the inn outside of call-ups, but this is going to be a team of kids, which leads many to believe, and I think rightfully so, may just be another painful year ahead of the Maple Leafs way.
Yeah, I would have thought that Brooks Laich, just based on his pedigree, the character that he is, he's got a grizzled veteran in the dressing room. But is it a case of, hey, listen, we're ruthlessly rebuilding this team, so we're not going to have a lot of ice time for guys like that?
Been that way from day one. It's been that way from the get-go with the Shanahan era, specifically when Lou Lamoriello arrived there, and more so you can make the argument when Mike Babcock was there as well. No moments for maudlin, emotional attachment to players. I was surprised with Laich. I mean, the whole idea of bringing in Brooks Laich was, we have a lot of kids, so we're going to need some sophisticated veterans around them. And it was the complete antithesis of the Edmonton model, which is let's just fill the roster with kids, and whatever vets we can grab, great. So for that reason, I'm a little surprised that Brooks Laich was waived yesterday, figuring that he would have been there just because there is Nylander, there is Matthews, there is Mitch Marner who makes the team, there is Connor Brown. There's a lot of young kids on this lineup. You'd think you'd want someone like Brooks Laich to be around, but not so much. It's a hockey decision, and Peter Holland outplayed him. What
happens with the money? I'm not as familiar as I should
Counts
be.
Against the cap. Counts against
100%. So they don't even care.
They'll get a minimal savings, but it still counts against the cap.
What a ruth! I mean, these guys mean it, don't they? When they say we're rebuilding.
But you know what? It's in a lot of ways the path of least resistance just would have been, well, you know what? Connor Brown doesn't need waivers, so we'll send him down. And at the beginning of every season, every general manager and coach says the same thing. We don't care about the waiver wire. If you make the team, you make the team. And no one believes them, right? And rightfully so. We understand that this is a business, and the Maple Leafs got Frank Corrado for that very reason. Oh yeah, I didn't make the team, so we're trying to send him down to Utica, put him on waivers, and the Maple Leafs claim him. We never really believe general managers and coaches when they say that, but I guess the Maple Leafs were serious about it this year. If you make the team, you really make the team.
Jeff, you mentioned the name Mitch Marner, and he's going to make the team. Does he stay past the 8-game mark, though?
If he keeps playing the same way he did in preseason, George? I mean, he was, and again on Saturday in the closeout against the Detroit Red Wings, the 4-3 loss. He was the best Maple Leaf on the ice. Consistently, this guy continues to get better and better. You look at that back check on the 2-on-1 with Athanasio and Anthony Mantha. I mean, he almost flat out catches up to Anthony Mantha to completely disrupt that 2-on-1. That, to me, as much as you look at some of the creative plays offensively that we saw Mitch Marner make over the preseason, specifically on Saturday, that to me, I think was the play where Mike Babcock said, okay, that's going to be our guy. Like when you back check that hard and come back to break up a 2-on-1 the way Mitch Marner did on Saturday, I think that's the moment that Mike Babcock said, if we had any reservations, which I don't think they did, about Mitch Marner, that pretty much erased them.